again, 52-51, Illinois.
Greetings everyone, it's Paulie. Welcome to another episode of Balls, and today I have a huge episode with many guests. On my left here we've got Dwyght Lyght. Pleasure to meet you.
How you doing?
And I'll let our new guest hosts introduce themselves, and welcome to the team, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paulie. My name is Jordan. It's great to be here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Meme, and yeah, this is gonna be a lit one.
We don't get your traditional hello.
Oh, y'all want my traditional
yes,
hello?
Yeah, give it to us.
Please, I'll be my guest. Be my guest. Hello, everybody. What's poppin'? It's your girl Meme. You know how it is, and whatever we do it good. Period. Poo.
You heard it, guys. So that's the energy and vibe of this interview. Now today we've got Dwyght here with us, and we're going to be talking a bit about his career. Now you play rugby, that's correct?
Yes.
And your season's just finished.
It did, yeah.
So how did your season go with COVID? Was it interrupted or?
Yeah, we did our normal block from January all the way up until like April, just about a 10-12 week block. Just a training, about 8 weeks, heavy cardio, gym involved, and then we start moving into ball playing. Then as soon as we got to pre-season, played a couple games, and then they're like, season's postponed. And that, when you spend 12 weeks preparing your body for that, it's the worst. So yeah, a lot of guys just said, nah, I'm not going to play. A lot of guys.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
the season was a reduced season. There weren't as many players as really.
Yeah, not as many teams, only 5 teams. But it was the 5 top teams. So
okay.
It was still a good comp, but oh man, it's just, yeah.
It wasn't the same.
No, it
wasn't the same. So have they made arrangements for next year to start earlier and get everything going, or?
They wanted to, but it kind of just doesn't work out because people still need to have the same amount of break. And,
yes.
And because we had such a compact season, everyone's feeling it. So might even need more of a break because the body's just not, what's it called? It's just, especially with rugby, like me right now, I'm taking at least 6 weeks.
6 weeks off
training completely, and then go back into it, start the cardio, go back into it, and hopefully we start at the same time in April.
Yes.
I'll be ready for that, but everyone else probably might want to start a little bit later, but I don't really see a difference, just do it.
Now, Jordan and Meme, I know you're huge football, soccer fans, but are you fans of rugby as well?
I actually played a bit of rugby myself in high school. I was pretty good, but probably not good enough to go professional like yourself.
But you had fun.
But I was good. I'm just going to put it up there. I was alright.
Do you currently play support any team, or prior to the COVID situation, was there an international team you supported?
Of course, I supported South Africa a little bit.
Yes.
Yes. It's a great one.
Springboks.
As for clubs, not really. I've never really been a big rugby fan, to say, but I love playing sport.
Yes.
That's definitely, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've noticed in WA, interest is starting to pick up for rugby. You're starting to get a growing audience. We've got of course, the Western Force here, so that's a huge amount of awareness that it brings for the sport. But I guess a lot of other athletes are in your position right now with COVID impacting the seasons. I guess, has the spectators that have come to your games, have the crowd sizes been reduced, or have they been bigger?
Even bigger.
Bigger?
Yeah,
okay.
Even bigger, because early on, people couldn't get out of their house or, congregate for any other reason except for sports. So when we had our games, like the Indigenous round, got about nearly like 1,000 people there.
Wow.
It was loud, and it was a big game, top 2 clash. So no, crowd sizes got bigger, ironically, but yeah, I mean,
people, there's a huge hunger for sports at the moment because I mean, what are you guys watching without major sports being online or being played?
We're watching Meme on Instagram. I was joking. There's really.
Are you looking at other sports?
Sports.
Or other content altogether?
Going out to watch it,
Or on TV, or.
Yeah, I mean footy.
Yeah.
Some footy, only because I work at Optus, so need to be up to date with what's going on. Yeah. And soccer. Been watching a lot of soccer.
Football.
Soccer.
putting it out there.
Football.
I think this is something we may need to put to the viewers. Is it soccer or is it football? Vote
No,
below.
no, hold on. First of all, question is, what is football? Because there's so many different types of football.
In Australia, everything is football.
But like, look here. Here, they call footy football. Okay, yeah, footy is football. But they use their hands. So you can't really call it football. Now you gotta call it handball. I'm joking.
Americans have football.
Debate.
Yes.
They do have football, but they use their hands. But then there's soccer.
Okay,
It
I see your
makes sense because they use their feet. You know what I mean?
Yes, well, the Irish have differentiated their game as Gaelic football.
Yeah.
Because it's.
Ah,
I don't know if you've seen Gaelic
Yeah.
football, but that just takes it to the next level.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It's extreme. It's extreme. But yeah, so your journey with rugby, how did you choose rugby? How did you come about to your career getting started?
It happened in primary school. So this was about year 5, and I played soccer growing up. I'm from West Africa, but I sucked at soccer. My whole family was good, and I sucked. I was a bigger kid, so I did karate for a bit, did martial arts, and then I was at school. And then one kid came in, and he was just like, man, like, rugby's so tough, man. You should see how I take people down. And he was just talking a whole lot of smack. And I was just like, bro, you're not that tough, man. He's just like, well, come over to my rugby club, see how we get down. And I took I called his bluff. And I went down to the rugby club, and we had one training session, just carved them up, and then the coach said, no, we got to sign you up. That's how it started, yeah. And then the next year I was playing in the state team, and I just didn't look back, because I was just finding something to be good at that I could rub in my brother's face. And then I had rugby. So
How many older brothers do you have?
Just one.
Just one. So that's your driving motivation.
Yeah, just rub it in his face, and yeah, it was good for a bit.
And sorry, go on.
You reckon if you didn't go, you wouldn't be here today? Do you think you would have found like interest in rugby anyways, even if you didn't go when your brother was like, ha ha ha?
Yeah, look, I don't think so. I was always one of those people that I would try anything, So if I tried something and I liked it, I'd keep going. I liked karate, so I kept going, but they didn't let me fight. So when I had to choose between playing rugby and actually playing every week, or waiting 4 years to have I was like, all right, let me play rugby.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. If like someone would have come in, I don't know if an ice skater came in, I would have tried it. It just
That's so good.
Yeah. How did you find the jump from high school rugby training to going state? Was that tough? Or?
It was very tough, because in high school you get comfortable.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
If you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
You get everything at high school,
Exactly.
but when you go to state, you meet people you never met, all different walks of life. You get guys from down in Rockingham, and they're a different folk down there, So, and you get in those teams, and you have to, you got to mesh with different people from the north, South Africans and stuff like that. They're different. I'm from the southeast, so I'm from like Kalamunda, those areas. A lot of New Zealanders, Samoans over there. You get South Africans down. You get the whites and the Englishmen. So you got to deal with that. And the first state team I was in, it was tough. Oh man, no one liked each other. No one liked each other. We found every reason to not like each other. What team you play for, where you were from. There's a lot of racial stuff in there. All those guys are now some of my good friends. When we started playing state, I hated it.
Why was everyone like that?
Years of playing against each other.
Okay.
We're playing for a championship, and the only people stopping us are those people. We only knew them as opposition, so when we had to come in and be like, oh, you're passing me the ball. If I didn't get the ball enough, I'd be like, it's because you put that team, that's why you're not giving me the ball,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it was just friction, and...
And how did you overcome that then?
In the games. So when you head over for the state tour and you got to play against Queensland, New South Wales, and they're big and they're infrastructure-wise they're way ahead of us.
Yeah.
So we were the underdogs. So we had to put up or shut up. And once you're going into battle and you're coming out and you start to respect players, you see some players, you're like, oh, he's tough.
Oh, yeah, that's the beautiful thing about sports, don't you think? Where, like, despite having all those differences, eventually when you play team sports, it's like everyone's focusing towards a common goal.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so you just have that drive altogether.
Yeah, and that's what I love
beautiful
sport.
feeling in sport.
Yeah, team sport is real good. It's real, like when it comes to prejudice and stuff like that, it doesn't exist. As soon as you chuck adrenaline into something,
Oh yeah.
you forget about everything else, you know, and that's the
You can
beauty of
relate to that
sports.
as well, Jordan.
Yeah, you just spread it. You don't care who you're with, you know, just boom. Yeah.
Do you like play any other sports that are not rugby?
I play basketball in the off season, but that's just, you know, I love basketball. I love my favorite athlete ever is Kobe. Like he's mentality wise, everything.
Yeah.
Kobe. You know, the way he lives his life, him as a father, everything. It's just what I would love to be at one point in my life. So yeah, basketball was my first love. I was short, stumpy. You know what I mean? Like I just wasn't that good at it, but I love playing it. And now sports-wise is that I did athletics when I was young. I was a state athletics sprinter.
Wow. Short distance or long distance running?
Anywhere from 100 to 400.
Wow.
And then I did the discus and shot put too. Yeah, so I stopped doing that. It was too nerve-wracking. I couldn't sprint anymore because you train a whole thing for one race. As soon as you get on that block, your heart's about to jump out your chest. I couldn't do it. I'd rather an 80-minute game where, you know, I might vomit a couple times before the game because I'm nervous, but as soon as I get in, it's good. But
Like Willie
100 minutes.
Beeman? Well, like Willie Beeman?
Like Willie Beeman.
Yeah, okay.
You know? Yeah, that was
Any given Sunday, yeah.
three games, you know, the routine. So athletics was I did it for school and I did it because, you know, it's good on the resume for your school,
Yes.
but I hated it. I hated the nerve-wracking aspect. I knew I wasn't going to be Usain Bolt, you know, so I was just like, yeah.
Now, balancing that out, you also have a lot going on the creative side of things.
Yeah.
Let's start with Lyght Wear to begin with. Now, how did you come up with the idea of Lyght Wear? Let's show it in front of the camera here.
Oh yeah, this was so speaking of COVID, this is the first hoodie we got made in COVID. We couldn't get sources from Europe or
Yes.
anything anymore, so we had to get it from New South Wales. And we managed to find this from a supplier called Ramo. It was real, one of my partners, Logan, he's real smart about that stuff. When he got it, quality was good. I'll post it out if you
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
guys.
Quality was good, sizing was good, and turnover was much quicker because it was just over there.
Yes.
Cost a bit more though.
Yeah.
But we were willing to live with that in COVID. So we got started with Lyght Wear. After I started music, I didn't plan to go into clothing, but my mate had a clothing brand. I used to help him out, wear his clothes, take photos.
Do the fashion promotional shoots and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I
And
see
he's
you
like-
modelling a lot. Yeah.
And he's like, oh man, it's not working. You know, it's not working for me. Man, I can't promote it as well. Do you want to jump into this with me? And he already had designs, and he wanted to name it after me, and that took me back. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, we'll name it after you. You know, we'll get it going. And
Because it is such a good name.
It is, you know, yeah, but yeah, that's how it started, and it kind of started last November. And
Why is that? So it was only last November. I thought you've been going for at least a year or two.
Oh, no.
Well, sorry to get excited. There.
No. Yeah, it's out of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
Out of nowhere, and like I said, I'll try anything.
Yeah.
Just jumped in, and you know, our first release, we dropped and sold nada because we just didn't promote it properly. We
Yeah.
had no idea about the industry, so we had to drop everything to like $10, clear it out, break even. Second drop in COVID, people couldn't get clothes in quickly. Everyone wanted local clothing.
Streetwear especially.
Yeah, it's like people that made money during the Depression back in the 30s, you know. It's the lowest points that you can cash in, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And social media wise and marketing wise, you guys, extremely smart strategy. I saw you on every platform. Your posting schedule was consistent, and the modelling work and the artwork itself is like nothing else being put out in person at the moment. You don't see any other clothing brands or apparel brands putting that, except for maybe West Brothers. Yeah, no, you don't see that. Sorry, guys, I've taken up something. Do you guys have some questions about Lyght Wear at all, or did I cut you off about asking you about football? Cool. So music as well. How did you end up getting into music?
I've always loved music. Music's number one to me in everything. You know, you go to study, you know, you listen to music, you feel like crap. You listen to music, you feel good.
And training in it. That
Training, you
goes
get
hand in
motivated.
hand.
Everything is music, and I realized at a young age I had an ability, like an eidetic memory sort of, where I could memorize a song top to bottom like that. So I know about 1,000 songs off the top of my head. And in year 5, I started writing poetry, and I entered a state poetry competition, which I won. Like my teacher entered me, and I didn't think much into it. She comes up to me, she's like, "You know Tupac Shakur?" And I was like, "Oh, a gangster?" And she's like, "Yeah, but no, he's not a gangster. He's a poet. He's a poet." And she told me all about him. I did my research, and what stopped me was I was a rugby player, and that was good. People knew me as a rugby player. It was working for me. I didn't want to diversify. I didn't want to jump out of that. I was too scared, you know. But when I finished school, did my shoulder reco, I couldn't play rugby anymore. That's when I started doing music. I'm like, why not write a few freestyles, go see a couple mates, and then they're like, one guy, McKenna, MKNA, great mate of mine, till this day, he said, hop on this track, see how you go, and I was nervous, but then I hopped on it, he played it back to me, and I was like, that sounds pretty good. As soon as it happened, I was like, let's make an album, and within 6-8 months, I dropped an 11-track album, just, yeah, and then...
You wrote?
Yeah.
Wow.
And produced and mastered.
Yeah, I didn't produce or master it, but I recorded it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's.
Congratulations, man.
Oh, cheers.
And that was your first foray into.
Yeah. First into music, I went straight for the album. Wasn't smart because I wasn't thinking cost effectiveness. I just wanted to show everyone I can do it.
Well,
I can
work out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did, and after that. Then, you know, I got some attraction from some guys who wanted me to go into a label, professional recording studio, which is where we're at now. Now we started our own little label, our own little collective.
So what's the label called?
Well, there's the main label that I was at for, that was Blackness.
Okay.
Blackness Limited. You know what I mean? A lot of great artists. They're all black. You know, and
that's great.
Yeah, and no, it's just it's a movement. And what we realize is. You look at things like Triple J and stuff like that, you know, there's some great artists in Perth, but they will pick music that doesn't really go to the black community. You know what I mean? And there's some great artists, great rappers, great MCs, great R&B, pop artists who won't get a look because they don't do folk music, indie music and stuff like that.
They don't fit into the box.
They don't fit into the box. Yeah. And we said, you know what? We'll do it ourselves. We'll record at the studio, we'll pay for it, and we'll distribute it ourselves. And we'll bring in these artists who will not get a sniff the other way.
Yeah.
And we'll do it just like they did in the East Coast with the drill scene, but we'll make it whatever you want to do, whatever music type you want, we'll get it out there. And yeah, it's just, that's been the journey too. So we've been doing that for about 7 months.
Wow. That's
what type of music are you guys into making?
Me personally, I do anything between rap, R&B, a bit of pop, but I also do a bit of Afro-inspired, Afro beats infused type music too. I like to mix it up. I like all types of music. But everyone else, we got a contemporary artist, Tommy Wayne. He's a whopper trained. What do you call it? Instrumentalist, yeah. Vocalist. And we got a whopper trained sound engineer, Chu. Shout out Chu. He's the man. Oh, that guy, man. He works magic. You know, with psycho sound. That's what he calls it. It's a study of how sound and sound waves can affect certain parts of the brain.
And moods and different frequencies, and yes.
And that's what he does with our music, and oh man, and so there's him, there's Max Sound, there's a studio we record at. He's a music guru, like music tech guru, so these people just literally just fell out of the sky and landed in our laps.
How did you find these people in Perth? Because it's such a small creative scene.
I didn't find them.
They just came to you after you got that first album?
Yeah, I don't find half the people. I'm blessed, I'm lucky. People come in and...
But that says something because I'm just looking at what you've said there. You go out and you do it and then they come to you. You don't wait for them to come to you. You go and make it happen. So just the listeners out there, that's a very important lesson I think you can learn from Dwyght here, is that if you have a dream or something, don't wait for someone to do it, just go after it, and they will come to you. So yeah. Sorry guys, did you...
I think it's also because you're not scared to like do anything. Like you just go for, like, if you want to do it, you do it.
Do it, yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, that's what I thought. The worst that could happen, you could just be like, that was fun. You have a laugh with it over a beer.
It's a learning experience.
It's a learning experience, but...
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't like that.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I'm scared. Like, oh, what's that person gonna say? Oh, what's that person gonna say? They're not like head on, you know? Like when they get an opportunity, they hesitate. They're like, oh, what if, you know? There's a lot of what if voices that come up and everything, but I feel like you don't have that what if voice.
I know I have it.
That's an interesting question. How do you block out that what if voice?
Yeah,
Great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I said, with the inspirations of Kobe, Steph Curry, some of my artists like T.I. and
Yes.
all that. A lot of the things that they, you find a general theme in people that are successful. They're like, look, I'm aware of that. You know what I mean? But I achieve in the moment and don't let either the past or the future dictate how I'm feeling in the moment, because those are tangible. Those are intangibles. You can't feel them. You can't touch them. They don't really affect you unless you let them affect you. So you might be like, oh, people might think this is whack. You don't know that. You know what I mean? And if you let that play, that voice is going to get louder and louder. It's going to get to a point where you're just going to be a shell of yourself, and you're never going to hit something 100%. As soon as you go, who cares if they're talking, At the end of the day, it's about how I see it. You block them out. I hear haters sometimes, but I look at it like, when you got haters, you're doing something right.
You're doing something right.
You're doing, People don't hate on people who they're not threatened by.
Yes.
I know I don't. If I'm not threatened by someone, I don't give them the time of day, but it's kind of like that.
It's also who you are as a person. I don't see you as someone that's going to come along and pop someone's bubble. You're more there to give them a hand and lift them up. So, music, fashion, sports. What's next for you? What's coming up in 2021?
My main goal right now is trying to be a good father. I had a daughter 3 months ago.
Congratulations!
That's what
that
puts everything
life changing.
Yeah, really.
Wow.
Tell us about that.
I was dating a girl for a while. And miracles happened, and it was unplanned. It shouldn't even happen, but she got pregnant somehow. And as a man, and especially someone who didn't grow up with my father passed away at a very young age. I grew up with just my mom, but luckily my mom was
rock star.
My mom's a queen, so my mom got it all done. And I saw that, and when I got put in the position, my whole life I used to think, I can't wait till I'm a father, because I can have my own, the things I couldn't do with my dad, I'll make sure I do it with my kids. So all this stuff, the music, the fashion and all that, it's all supplementary. It's all stuff that I'm doing that maybe in 10 years might, keep me sustained, that I can live a comfortable life with my family and do all the things that my mom could never do with me because she worked all the time. My dad couldn't do it because he wasn't there. So that's what these grinds up.
Who did you have as a male role model? I'm sorry to touch on that. Who did you have as a male role model growing up?
Not much. I had to just learn myself. I learned most of my things. That's why I say when people say you need a man to teach you how to be a man, no, you don't. I had women in my life who were willing to be the man and the woman.
I have to agree. I had a strong mother. Dad was away working all the time, and she taught me everything I know. Shout out to all the amazing mums out there.
Yeah, shout out to the mums, man, for real. Yeah, so my mum was, I'll tell you 100%, my mum was my everything that I have.
Yep.
I got it from my mum, and I just put it in a more sort of, what's it called, because I'm like, I'm the
version 2.0.
I got to look after my mum now. So that puts you on another level. When you, especially being from West Africa, and especially Africans, the mum is
the queen.
Oh yeah,
she's
such a
patriarch of the
thing.
family.
So whenever my mum used to, academics wise, my mum would be like, I'm working 7 days a week for you to go to Trinity. Put it in, and I'm like, just.
She was able to afford to send you to Trinity.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I had to.
So I
had to work my butt off.
And you've got other kids there that don't know how lucky they are.
They don't, man. And but another thing is I met a lot of humility at Trinity. The guys who used to help me, come pick me up, take me to athletics, take me everywhere, like give me the resources. They were all rich kids, but they saw a value in me, and they were like, they didn't see themselves as rich kids. We didn't have that. My group of friends, we didn't have that. We were separate people who helped each other in certain ways where...
Well, that speaks volumes to the school, I think.
It's fallen into disrepute lately because of quite a few incidents that happened after I graduated. But while I was there, I'm telling you, some of those boys, the mantra is man for others. And I can guarantee the guys I went to school with and I graduated with, we've gone to hell and back. And it wouldn't change a thing. So,
no, that's amazing. Your life would have been so different had you not gone to that school.
100%, yeah. I wanted to go to Darling Range and just play rugby. I just wanted to get a job. But, Mum made me focus on academics, and it's working out now. It's paying off, so.
I guess also the network and the mentality that school helps the hard work mentality that you can work hard and get to where you need to go. A state school, they do a great job, but you sort of show up, it's attending, it's a social side of things, and then you go home. Whereas I do understand with the private school system, they'll give you the homework, they'll give you the best resources, give you the latest information, they'll position you in a place in which you're a bit better off than I think a state school person is. So
I'm pretty sure there's like some listeners who are listening, obviously, and they're
always.
and they're probably like stuck, quote unquote, between should I graduate and go to uni, or should I finish school, or should I just carry on with sport and drop school?
Okay.
What would you advise them to do?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that was a dilemma for me. I just wanted to put all my eggs into sports, because I thought I was playing at the top level. I thought nothing was going to happen, my body was fine. But Mum told me, nah, get a good ATAR, make sure you qualify for uni. And honestly, my mum it's weird, sometimes she annoys me how right she is, because like as soon as I was finishing school, I did my shoulder. I couldn't play the next year, I couldn't make money from rugby, I couldn't
do anything.
Yeah, but I graduated with a 98, so I could get into anything at uni. So I did psychology and human resource at Curtin, started doing that. Bridge took off the human resource part and added exercise science, because that's what I like. PE studies was my main subject in school. So then I did that, it was easy, and I did that for 2 years. And reason why I did that, what I'd say to them is, look, like, sports is good and everything, but sports, it's a dirty game. You're as good as how healthy you are. You're as good as how good you can do for a team, you know what I mean? They will drop you like this if they need to. Because, they can't hold on to you. They're not your dad, not your mum. They don't owe you.
They're there to win.
So I put all your eggs in that. Make sure you study, make sure you have something that you can fall back on, and an actual passion. Don't just go through the motions. Some people go through the motions with academics and stuff like that. No point.
They don't love what they do afterwards.
No point.
Because even in Africa, you see, like, I'll give my family as an example. My little brother wanted to do soccer, and he got a scholarship to like leave the country and go to play for like Manchester United Junior
Academy.
And my dad was like, no, you're not doing it. Finish school. He was so bitter. He was like ready to just fight everyone. But even just looking back at it, I was also bitter. I was like, yo, Dad, like, this child has a talent. This is not just any team. Like, really? And, like, looking back at it now, just from what you said, I'm like, oh, okay, that does kind of make sense. Like, yes, he did miss an opportunity, and but it'll come by again sometime.
Well, if you're meant to be in a position like that, you'll find yourself there regardless. I got dropped from the force twice. From injury. Like nothing I could do about it. I was bitter. I was angry. Like, I keep going. But I realized I could do two things: quit, and just ball, or I could work hard and prove to them that look, I am one of the best, and just be good. They told me I was too old and injured. I was 19. But there was no under-20s Australian team anymore. My luck, it was an under-19 Australian team while I was 19, so I didn't qualify. You know what I mean? So I couldn't expand the Force brand, really. So technically I was just a talented player with a crooked wing. That's actually, in sports terms, that's what I was. And, I hated it, and I worked my ass off that off-season. And I came back that year, blew the roof off the comp, I'm not even joking. And then they came back, oh, you want to come back? I told them, no. I told them, no, I learned my lesson. You know what I mean? I said, look, I'm 19, 20, if you guys really want me, there'll come a point where you're going to have to offer me a full-on contract. I'm not going on no academy deal no more where you can just drop me, pay my bills. I'm going to rock up, and I'm going to train as hard as I do. And since they weren't ready to match that, I told them no.
That's the crazy thing with sports, because just recently, there was a situation with the Man City Academy. I don't know if you heard about that young player. He got dropped and took his own life, unfortunately. So rest in peace. But that's like a big topic that has to. I feel like sports teams need to direct some energy into, because there's a lot of young kids who go into sports and then end up being dropped and then get scarred for life. Like, you know, there's that tough mentality that people, sports, you have to be tough.
Well, they lose the whole support structure around them. All their friends are training with the team, and they lose all their friends.
Yeah.
That's how old was this kid that took that?
17.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
You got dropped from the squad, and you thought, because a lot of kids have nothing but sports.
That's their life.
Yeah.
That's their life.
And it's so upsetting. Like, it's so upsetting. Oh,
So when they talk them up.
But no, that's a Jordan. That's a fantastic point. Clubs do need to look at how they're treating their players, because the psychological damage, as you can see, can be catastrophic.
It can.
And you've expressed that as well, how they made you feel. And of course, if they're doing that to academy players, a lot of players probably don't understand that their value like you do. And you understand that, you can walk away and you're not coming back until you get a full contract. But a lot of other kids, like this young kid, probably didn't realise that. And gosh.
yeah, because not everyone has that bounce back mentality. Like, if something bad happens, I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. If it's meant to be, it'll be. Let me go work hard. Because, you know, like, their life revolves around it. You know? Like, they're in it because they want to be in it. And if they're not, they're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
You get me?
And that comes back to the advice
And it's
you
so
gave.
literal. Like, it's literal. It's like, if you drop me, I will die. You know, like, literally, if y'all get rid of me, I am going to die.
Yeah.
Shame.
That's a headline. I think that's a soundbite for this as
That
well.
is.
But that goes in part with what your mother instilled in you, in not just having athletics, having that backup.
Yeah.
So that's great advice for young athletes out there. Make sure you always have a backup, something that you are passionate about.
Yeah.
Don't just go through the motions.
No,
Now we're going to finish up shortly, but I'm wondering, do you guys have any other questions for Dwyght before we get into promote his brands and tell the whole of Perth where they can buy his epic merch?
I guess I would ask you, based on that whole mentality thing, what would you say grounds you to just keep pushing despite going through so many setbacks?
Religion. I'm proud of
Speak on
a
it.
Jehovah's Witness. And recently, look, the thing is, a lot of people, being Africans, we all get like a taste of religion growing up, you know, we all do, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity. And with me, like, you know, obviously I fell into the Western way in high school ways in high school, and I forgot to study, educate myself, and spiritually ground myself. And the only thing that brought me back to it, you know, it's unfortunate events that'll ground you. My best mate passed away in 2018, you know, from one punch attack. And with that, you know what I mean, you lose your best friend. You can deal with it one or two ways. You can either think the world's against you, you can hate the world and just say, I'm just here, you know what I mean? Or what religion teaches you is you're going to see him again, but you won't see him again if you don't live a righteous life, you know? And in everything you do, people are going to wrong you. It's going to be uphill battles, people are going to hate you. The more you are spiritually clean, the more you do have a light in you, the world's going to trouble you. So you just got to sit at some point and be like, if I'm going to be a Christian, my life is going to be tumultuous. It's going to be a lot of it's going to be a roller coaster, because that's what it is. And I accepted that a while ago. I've seen my mom's life, I've seen my whole family's life. That's how their lives have been. So I'm not going to sit here at any point and be like, and expect things to go great. I expect things to go upside down, and when they do, that's when like my faith will kick in. You know what I mean? And that's the way I see it. Whenever anything goes wrong, I just say,
what lesson am I being taught here?
Exactly. And
what skill am I being given to apply later on in life? Am I being taught patience?
And that's really, it teaches you that.
100%.
The Lord will give you the strength that you
Because
need.
honestly, sorry to cut you off, honestly, I've been trying to understand that in my last year or two of trying to personally develop myself. And I know it does get hard, but at times you just have to sit down and be like, okay, So I've gone through this. So how am I gonna get out of it now?
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna get out? For lack of a better term, how am I gonna interpret this?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's perfectly said.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love what both of you.
Perspective is everything.
100%.
Sorry, I cut you off there, my bad. I love what both of you have said, where you're like, okay, like when you're going through something, you sit down and you get back to the drawing pin and you're like, okay, what's poppin', you know?
Yeah.
Because most people don't have the ability to actually go through it. Most people are like, okay, I'm going through this, but I don't want to go through it. I don't want to feel the emotions. You know, people neglect emotion. But
Yeah.
when we talk about the soul, we're talking about the mind, the will, and the emotions. You know, if you want to run away from things like that, it's really not going to help you in life. But this is what society has taught us. This is what we've been grounded, you know, to think. This is what society has been feeding us. You know, when you're going through something, just block it out, you know, because these things, like, accumulate. Like,
Yes.
this happens, then this happens, and at one point, you will break.
Yeah.
And when you break, then it's gonna be like, oh my goodness, you know? So I just love what you guys said, like, you know, when you're going through something, the only way to get over it is to go through it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go through it. Don't be fooled, because it's how it's supposed to be. You know, if we weren't supposed to go through bad things, I don't think bad things would happen.
Yeah.
But these are things that are supposed to
Can I add
teach
to
us
that?
something. Yeah.
I agree with that, but in a kind of different way. I feel like there's a fine line between how you should use emotion and how you should project it.
Yeah.
Because I kind of disagree with what you said about society teaching you to block it out.
Yep.
Because how I see it is, emotion can either drive you or destroy you. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to add.
I just want to say I'm sensing from this discussion that we're all people of faith here, which is fantastic, and I think that is a big help. I don't want to get too far into it because I know not all of our viewers are possibly sharing our point of views, but yes, having faith in something, and in our case it's religion, it's a big help. It's a big help.
Huge one.
But we're going to close out the episode by promoting Dwyght and his brands. Now we've got, of course, Lyght Apparel there. Is that correct?
Lyght
Wear.
Lyght Wear.
Yeah.
So the details, just shout out the web address and we'll put that at the bottom.
Yeah, it's real simple. Simple domain. It's lightwear.com.
Boom.
Anyway, just chuck it in. It's real easy like that. Instagram, Lightwear. Facebook, Lightwear.
What sort of merch do you have available? You've got the jumpers,
So we got the
tees?
jumpers, tees. What do you call it? We got swim shorts. We got fighter shorts. We got
Singlets?
singlets.
Hey.
We got singlets coming out. The summer collection. You know, we got the hats. So a baseball and a 5-panel cap. What else are we making right now? And this is for just business people. We do customs. So we did the customs for a physiotherapist, the Gentleman's Barber Lounge in Bentley.
So can
Done their
people come to
uniform.
you for designs?
Yeah.
Oh,
If you want
brilliant.
something done, we'll design it and make it for you and manufacture it for you.
We got
Get
some
it.
fresh cuts too.
Yeah.
Gentleman's Barber and
Gentleman's Barber, yeah, they got some fresh, they'll shout out Gentleman's Barbers. There's some of our partners right there. Thanks for giving us the opportunity. They were our first customs. You know what I mean? COVID, they couldn't get uniforms in.
Yeah.
One of my boys, King Mo, best barber in Perth, hit me up and said, bro, I need uniforms. And we did it, you know?
Wow.
No, that's pretty much what we do as Lyght Wear. We're going to forever keep expanding because Lyght Wear is not just a clothing brand, it's a movement. You know, we got athletes pushing our stuff, you know, Dom Savvy bodybuilders, we got rugby players, we got musicians. That's what it is, and hopefully at one stage you guys, creatives, and we just want to, it's a light movement. That's what I've thought about in my mind. Everything I want to do is to push Perth up. You know, not to push myself up. At the end of the day, a lot of people, you know,
A rising tide lifts all boats.
yeah, you know, I will be happy if this light wave ends up making Perth and making people in Perth more noticeable and making
100%.
life easier on them, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to touch corners.
All it takes is one photo to go viral, and then everyone in Perth benefits from that.
Exactly.
Because they're going to see, oh, who likes his post? Who has he collaborated with? They're going to then follow those people.
Exactly.
So that's... Now, the music, where can people follow you for the production studio?
So the production studio on Instagram is Max Sound Studio.
Fantastic.
Max Sound. So that's, follow me, Dwyght Lyght, on Instagram. That's where I'll push my music.
Fantastic.
Spotify, Dwyght Lyght. Dwyght with a Y and Light with a Y.
We'll have the links below in the description section.
We'll get it in there, but I'm sure there's going to be something else popping soon. I don't want to say too much, but we'll keep working.
Make sure you follow him on all the social media, guys. Do you have a YouTube channel as well?
No, I do not yet.
Not yet.
But I've got my rugby highlights, all of my mixtapes. If you just type my real name, Dwyght Lyght is my stage name. If you type my government name, Tampa Levy, you'll see all my highlights and clips. So
we might have to put a link to that as well in the description. Any closing questions before we go, guys?
No closing questions. You covered everything.
No, listen, thank you so much for your time. Once again, guys, we wish Dwyght all the best for the, hopefully next season, and definitely some downtime in the off season. Go support him, purchase this amazing merch. Listen, as he mentioned, they can design it for you. They can, if you've got a small team, sports team, corporate, anything, give Dwyght a call. He's a local Perth creative, he does music, and of course, athlete extraordinaire. So, and he's given us a lot of great advice today as well.
Yes, he has.
So, thank you once again, and we hope that you all enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, balls, and we'll catch you next time.
There you go.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.